if you're watching this video, you hopefully have gotten KnowUML up and running to this point. If you haven't, then certainly go back and make sure that happens. The setup video or reach out for help. So this first pop-up, this will start every time you run UML. So let me actually just show you now. I'm going to close it. And if I run it again, I don't have to log in again. It's going to pop up right to the badges page. So this is kind of a reminder of your progress. You can see right now you've completed 0 on everything, and there's some goals inside of here to reach. Some of these goals look big, but they actually come quicker than you might think. If you want to know what these goals mean, well, you can actually just mouse over here. And so the first badge here is for making mistakes. You can see it says everyone makes mistakes, so you get credit for doing so. Don't worry about making mistakes. So again, this tool is not expecting you to be perfect the whole time. I'm not expecting you to study it, memorize it, ruminate over answers. This is a playground, and you're actually rewarded. You will get points for making 25 mistakes, or more. You can make as many mistakes as you want to, but you get rewarded up to 25. You don't keep getting points for making mistakes. Again, there's a code aspects. If you have trouble with the compiler, well, you get points for that. If you ask for hints, there's nothing wrong with taking hints on the code part of it. You can get help. You can get hints and get credit for that. And then there's some trick questions. And then you get into the actual things we're going to do. And so these will come up as you do problems. These will go up a little bit at a time. What you see in front of you is only your local representation of the points you're earning based off of. These don't equate to points, by the way. These are the count that will lead to points. Your points will be tabulated when you submit it. And so we'll talk about that submission. We'll talk about that points in another video. But I want you to have this idea of the point, the goal, if you will, the purpose of this is for you to just play in the tool. These numbers will go up a little bit at a time. And as you reach your goal here, that's the sign that you've probably started to understand the concept, that you probably have done this enough that you're getting it. Don't let the goal fool you. If you totally get it and you're halfway to the goal, you don't have to keep going unless you want the points. But if you are at the goal and you're still kind of confused, keep practicing. That's the whole point of the tool, is to give you plenty of time to play with these ideas. Now, I don't think there's anything super complex, and these goals, I think, are kind of fairly set, but we'll see as it goes. So at any point, if you want to see this page after you start playing with it, you can always go to this Achievements Show Badges, and that will get you back to this page to see how things are going. All right, so what is the tool? Well, the tool is about playing with UML diagrams. So in this incarnation of the video, in this incarnation of the tool, right now I have UML diagrams for use cases, classes, and sequence diagrams, and then also special options for drawing class diagrams with inheritance. So I don't start that right away. We'll add that later on. So for example, in use case diagrams, I can practice reading use case diagrams. So when I click on read, you can see it does preparing the diagram, and that you can't actually hit OK on that. It says OK, but it'll disappear on its own when it's done. Depending on the speed of your computer, it might take a minute for it to render the diagram. But here is an example of the use case diagram. So a lot of what you're going to do in the tool is you're going to look at this diagram and you're going to try and make sense of it. Now, when I say make sense of it, the diagram probably makes some sense, but it is a random generator that is working here. So, for example, it makes perfect sense here that a customer can buy a product and a customer can request a return. It doesn't necessarily make sense that a customer doesn't have the option to add a review. That's what this syntax means in UML. The line means, the arrow means the customer can do these things. So of course the customer should be able to add a review. But again, it's a random generator. It generated 2 out of the 3 just to kind of test your ability to read that. And if you're sitting there thinking, why doesn't the customer have that ability to add the review? That's the entire point of UML, is to make these things very transparent. Of course the customer should do that, and of course I should add that line here. And so I'm hoping that that meaning comes to you. That's part of what you should be playing with this tool for, is to immediately be able to intuitively grasp that meaning. Like, there should be a line here, there shouldn't be a line there. So the way we're going to practice this a little bit is to get you to answer questions, little quiz questions about diagrams such as this. So I'm not here to teach you use case diagrams here. I'm here to teach you the tool. But how many actors are in the diagram? Well, if you know your use case, the stick figure is an actor, so there's one of them. How many packages are in the diagram? Well, let's just say we don't know. We'll just say there's 3 of them. There's these 3 things right here. How many use cases are there in the general public package? Okay, well, I just got a hint here. General public, this is a package, right? So maybe this isn't right. We'll leave it for now. But we'll just say 3 there as well. How many actors can access the add review use case? I don't know. We'll guess 1. And how many actors can access the buy product use case? We'll put 1 there as well. And then when I submit, again, oh, I got 3 of these right. Do you know you got it right because the color changes? And if you have the ability to distinguish color, then this is a green color inside of there. If you get it wrong, the color also changes to a red color, which again is this red and green are not the kindest for people who can't see colors quite as well. But there's also a line through it that indicate that 3 and 1 were wrong. So a little bit of a visual representation help there. So, as I said, how many packages? Well, I had a hint there that there might only be 1 package. And I had a idea here that there's probably 0 that can do access review. As I said, that line is meaningful. So, oh, there you go. Now I have them all right. So that's a lot of what KnowUML is going to be. Is picking a diagram and answering the questions and taking multiple tries on that. And as I said, if I go back to the badges page, you can see I made 2 mistakes. I got 2 questions wrong, and I got credit for those 2. And I answered a trick question, and a question whose answer was 0, but I was brave enough to go and get that answer right. And then, again, use case packager. Well, notice I got 1 use case spotter, 1 acting use case acting, and then 4 package ones. So wait, there's only 1 question on package, but inside of the package, by the way, I can go back to show the current diagram if I want to see the last thing I worked on. Inside the package, there was 4 things that I spotted. And so now I'm starting to see more details about packages and what's the difference between a package and something else. And that, again, you'll get more instruction on use cases as it goes. You don't have to pick that up from here, but I want you to see how these numbers add up in a hurry. So I need 30 of them. Well, that's not 30 problems per se, or certainly not 200 problems. It adds each time you spot one of those properly. So these numbers will add up pretty quickly. So that is the foundations of KnowUML. You have your diagrams page. You pick whatever you want to. If you want to go back to a diagram, you can go review it as much as you want to. Or you can pick another diagram out there. So like, let's say you want to do a class diagram. This is a very simple class diagram. Not everything is super simple because I'll point out to you there's levels here. Level 1s tend to be very, very simple, so you can deal with like 1 concept at a time, 1 class, a couple of use cases. All the way up to level 4. So if I generate a diagram on level 4, it starts to be a bit more complicated. A whole bunch more things inside of there. And some of these get more complicated still, and then there's a lot more questions that pop up as well. So we'll talk a little bit about some of those nuances and some of those options in another video here, but I want you to get an idea of what this is for and a little bit about the controls. And again, we'll come back to it. So feel free to play with it. Feel free to get started. Maybe you learn a little bit more about UML, which you can do through the help menu. There's the reference that will tell you more about the tool. Find videos such as this one. There's instructions on UML. There's examples of drawing UML. There's the home specification. So if you ever were curious, UML has a website, uml.org. So you can get to that from the tool. Oops. And so you can pull up all sorts of things from the help menu. All right. So that is a start to KnowUML. Start playing, and if you want to know more details about it, then certainly dive into additional detailed videos.